themselves beginning on my far right.
Dave Harrison.
James Kaufman, Clerk Treasurer.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you, Board. You have been presented a printed copy of the minutes of the previous meeting dated Monday, August 16th, 2021. Floor is open for any questions, comments, or corrections.
I have none.
No questions, comments, or corrections. I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. This evening, Board, we have 5 pages of wastewater claims in the amount of $471,403.10. Floor is open for any questions or comments.
I have none. Thank you.
I have none.
No questions or comments. I'll ask for a motion to approve the wastewater claims dated September the 7th, 2021, in the amount of $471,403.10. This time I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you. We have no unfinished business, and we have no new business this evening. I notice my neighbor's here. Mr. Dixon?
Yes, sir.
Come on up, and I was telling one of the board members about your issue before the meeting started. Come on up, right up to the microphone there.
Oh, right here?
Yeah, right there.
Really, I've only got one question tonight, and it's for Mr. Merriweather. Did you record our conversation today?
Recorded?
Yes.
No, sir.
That's all I need to know. Thank you.
All right. No comments from board members?
I have none.
This time I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned at 6:02 PM. We will convene our Board of Public Works and Safety meeting after we reset. Thank you. Hi, Matt.
Mayor, how are you today?
Good guy. Brad.
Good evening and welcome to the second of 3 meetings tonight. My name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove. And at this time, we will convene our Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for Tuesday, September the 7th, 2021. In lieu of a roll call, I will ask each participant to introduce themselves, beginning on my far right.
Dave Harrison.
James Kaufman, Clerk Treasurer.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you, Board. You've been presented a printed copy of the minutes of the previous meeting dated Monday, August 16th, 2021. Floor is open for any questions, comments, or corrections.
I have none.
I have none.
No questions, comments, or corrections. I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you, Board. This evening, we have 37 pages of corporate claims in the amount of $1,792,504.20. Floor is open for any questions or comments.
I have none, thank you.
I have none.
No questions or comments. I'll ask for a motion to approve the corporate claims dated September the 7th, 2021, in the amount of $1,792,504.20.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you. Board, we have no unfinished business to carry over from the previous meeting. Tonight, we have several new items of business. First is sewer fees for Beech Grove Little League, and I'll defer to the clerk. Jim?
Yes, so previously we had had discussions about forgiving the sewer fees for Little League and softball. You approved the softball earlier this year, and was curious about the totals for the Little League. So here's a print off. So you can see their average sanitation bills, $34 up to sometimes $44, depending on the month. So I'd say on average it's about $40 a month for their sanitation is what they pay when they are open in season. So if you wanted to forgive those like you did with the softball, that's what you're basically forgiving, about $40 a month or so on their usage.
Any comments from board members?
I think if we're doing this for girls softball, then it's only right that we do this for the boys Little League.
I agree.
I agree.
With that, I'll ask for a motion to waive the fees for sewage works, including sewer fees, trash fees, and stormwater fees for the Little League.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. This evening, Board, we're going to enter into an agreement with GM Management to build, operate, and transfer agreement with concerning the new police station. This BOT agreement will allow the project to move over, beginning with design, and then the application for permits, the construction of the project, and closure of the project. So, Chief, did you want to make any comments on this?
Not necessarily.
Okay, that's fine. I'll defer. Craig, you have any comments on this?
No, I recommend we execute the agreement. Let's get started.
There are a couple things I want to make sure everybody's clear of. This, when we enter into an agreement with these folks, it will be any change order, the construction, the permit process, the inspection, and any other item that has to do with the construction project, and any expenses during the operating period they will hear. And then the project, I was reading it earlier today, and I can't find it. I should have marked it. Will conclude sometime in the spring of 2023, and the cost is not to exceed $8.4 million. And that was what was recommended by our financial consultant, Jeff Peters. So I should have marked it, and I didn't. But entering into this agreement is just another stage in the development of the project, and hopefully we will be underway by sometime in October. So I'll open it up to any questions from board members.
You said they're gonna start October this year, like next month,
I would say in November, hopefully.
start November.
Here it is on page 4. The purchase price shall mean prior to the substantial completion of the project, an amount equal to the amount of the project cost stated in the certified cost statement, and upon the substantial completion of the project shall mean an amount equal to $8,400,000. And this project will be substantially completed by the spring of '23, according to the documents in here. So if there's not any questions, I will ask that the board enter into an agreement. I'll ask the clerk to read it by title only, and then we enter into an agreement with GM Development for the construction of a police station.
Build, operate, transfer agreement, Beech Grove. This build, operate, transfer agreement is executed this 7th day of September 2021 by GM Development Companies LLC in the city of Beech Grove, Indiana, to be effective as of the closing date.
Thank you, Jim. No further questions. I'll ask for a motion to enter into an agreement with GM Development for the construction of the police station.
I will make said motion.
My second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I vote aye also, and the motion carries. Thank you. Next order of business is the easement agreement between the City of Beech Grove and GM Development for the construction of a police station. At this time, I'll ask the clerk to read the easement agreement into the record, please.
The deed conveying title to the grantor is recorded as instrument in the office of the Marion County Recorder. Easement agreement. This easement agreement is executed the 7th day of September 2021 by and between the City of Beech Grove, Indiana, and GM Development Companies. Whereas grantor is a fee simple owner of that certain real estate more particularly described on Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference. Whereas grantor and grantee have executed that certain build, operate, transfer agreement of even date herewith. Whereas pursuant to the BOT agreement, grantee will construct on the grantor property the project described in the BOT agreement. Whereas grantor has agreed to grant to grantee a temporary easement on, over, above, across, and through the grantor property for the purpose of constructing the project in accordance with the terms and conditions of the BOT agreement. Whereas grantor acknowledges that grantee shall be owner of the completed project, but not the grantor property. Whereas pursuant to the BOT agreement, grantor is obligated to grant to grantee as the owner of the completed project certain easements on, over, above, across, and through the grantor property. And whereas to satisfy its obligations under the BOT agreement, grantor desires to execute this agreement. Now therefore, for good and valuable consideration, the receipt and sufficiency of which are acknowledged hereby, grantor and grantee agree as follows. 1. Easements. Grantor hereby grants for the benefit of grantee its successors and assigns in the agents, subcontractors, and employees of grantee and its successors, or assigns a temporary easement on, over, above, across, and through the grantor property for the purpose of constructing the project in accordance with the terms and conditions of the BOT agreement. B. The construction easement shall terminate automatically without any action of or instrument signed by grantor or grantee on the date that is 10 business days after the date on which the project is completed. Notwithstanding that no instrument is necessary to terminate the construction easement on the termination date upon receipt of written request from grantor, accompanied by a recordable memorandum of termination that reasonably is acceptable to grantee, grantee shall execute such memorandum of termination. Binding effect. The construction easement until terminated in accordance with subsection 1A. A shall incur the benefit of grantee and its successors and assigns as the owners of the completed project. And B shall I run with and bind the grantor property. And 2, bind grantor and its successors and assigns as owners of the grantor property. 3. Maintenance. Grantee shall have no obligations with respect to the maintenance, repair, and or replacement of the completed project. all of which obligations shall belong to the grantor as the owner of the grantor property. Miscellaneous. The invalidity, illegality, or unenforceability of any one or more of the terms and conditions of this agreement shall not affect the validity, legality, or enforceability of the remaining terms and conditions thereof. This agreement may be executed in separate counterparts, each of which shall be an original, but all of which together shall constitute a single instrument. This agreement shall be governed by and construed in accordance with the laws of the state of Indiana. In witness whereof the parties have executed this agreement as of the date set forth above.
Thank you, Jim. I'll defer to Craig. Any thoughts on this?
No, no comments. I mean, it speaks for itself.
Dave, Sandy, any thoughts or questions on this?
I have none.
I have none.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the easement agreement between the City of Beech Grove and GM Development Company.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you. Next order of business is a professional services agreement with Advisio for the purpose of appraisals. For the public, I wanted this to be in here so that we can disclose that we are doing appraisals on several properties in the area of Emerson and Maine for the purpose of constructing a police station. These appraisals will cost in excess of $19,000, and they are taking place as we speak. So I wanted the public to know that. I wanted to disclose that. This is an agreement for professional valuation services between the City of Beech Grove and Advisio Real Estate Advisors and Appraisers. So any thoughts, questions, comments?
I have none.
So I'll ask for a motion to approve this agreement and allow our counsel Craig, to sign on our behalf.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you. Board, I would like to enter into a professional service agreement with Set Environmental, and what this would allow us to do, if there is an environmental problem in the city, a spill due to an accident or whatever, this company would come out on our behalf and mitigate it. So I'm going to defer to Brad, our Public Works Director. He's the one who set all this up, and I think it's a good thing, and it protects us in the middle of the night if something happens. Brad, good to see you.
Thanks, Mayor. Good evening, Board. So, late July, we had a chemical spill on the new roundabout right at Churchman and Arlington. And it was sort of a boundary issue right where Indianapolis and Beech Grove come together. So, in some ways, that was sort of fortunate for us. It was after hours. I got called by Marion County Health Department. Indianapolis did get involved, and the company that they used to do the cleanup was Set Environmental. I ended up having a few conversations with the city of Indianapolis about this company, and they had nothing but really good things to say, and it kind of triggered me thinking down the road, we really need to establish a relationship with a company like this so that, God forbid, we do have some major chemical spill or some sort of environmental impact from something that falls off a truck or something like that, which is what happened out there. There was a 55-gallon drum of old kerosene, and God only knows what else was in there. It got into the storm system and got into the creek pretty quick, and so they were able to remediate that, and it kind of goes beyond our capabilities with equipment and personnel. So there's no retainer fee, there's no fee at all unless you use them, and their rates are established in this agreement. I did have Craig look this over, and he thought everything looked okay. Like I said, City of Indianapolis had nothing but really good things to say about them, and you can call them 24/7, and they will respond within a couple of hours to come out and clean it up. And they have the ability to get rid of whatever said chemical is, like the kerosene. They had places to take that and dispose of it. So I just thought this would be a good thing for the city to have in
Are they a
place.
24/7 operation?
Yes.
I think it's a good idea. Any thoughts from board members?
No, would this include like Jones Chemical over there too?
It could, depending on, what the issue is and where it takes place. If it's in the public right-of-way, this was something that came off a truck and the guy just kept going. So, there was no way to pin it on anyone.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Jones would probably be involved if it was something on their property. I'm sure they have a lot of measures in place to deal with a chemical spill or something like that. But if we were to have somebody driving a truck and something come off, on the side of the road, and impact the storm system or people's homes. This is a company, and I have a brochure as well if you'd like to see it, but it gives a rundown of, the amount of personnel they have, which is extensive, pieces of equipment, things to deal with this, they're licensed and everything, and just goes far beyond what we can do in-house, especially when you get into hazmat and things like that. IDIM gets involved. They want to see detailed records and, were you licensed to handle that? And like I said, really no way to staff for those types of events. And they don't come up very often, which is fortunate, but it's always nice to be prepared if they do.
Good idea.
Thoughts or comments? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agreement for immersed and non-immersed work between the City of Beech Grove and Set Environmental.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brad. Next order of business is an engagement letter for professional services between the City of Beech Grove and Weathered Burns, attorneys at law, concerning appraisals and the, not appraisals, but the eminent domain of certain properties located in or around Emerson and Main Street here at Beech Grove. So I'll defer to Craig for any type of comment.
Yeah, so this firm's going to help us with the land acquisition, station. Had a couple of real good talks, and I think the chief's talked to him as well. They have a plan moving forward, and I think it's going to be a real good relationship. So
This is a common transaction.
yes,
Okay.
eminent domain proceeding,
Yes.
if we have to go that route.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully, but if not, we will have to initiate a legal proceeding. So law firm will help us with that.
Okay. Thank you, Craig.
We've done this, we didn't have to do it on the Arlington Churchman roundabout. We had to do it on the Greenway. We had to do it on the Thompson Trail. And we're gonna have to do it on this project. I really don't care to go through that. Sometimes it could be really tough. But the property owners have rights and so do the city, so sometimes we have to do this if we want a project to be successful. And the law and the rules, there are rules for this, so we have to follow them. And but anyway, it appears that it all works out at the end. But anyway, I would ask that the city or the board the city enter into an agreement with Withered Burns LLP to represent the city in eminent domain action.
Make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Permission for Walk to Remember, Luminaria. I'll defer to the clerk.
Dear Mayor Buckley and the City of Beech Grove, we're Bill and Linda Dribble Bees. What's their last name? Dribble Bees, the Logistic Committee for American Cancer Society Relay for Life, Southeast Indy, and residents of Beech Grove. With concerns of keeping everyone safe, we will not be having our full event again this year. Last year, we held a small luminaria ceremony at the Beech Grove City Hall. We set up a table to collect and distribute luminaria bags at 5 o'clock to relay supporters and then put the bags on the brick walls and the sidewalk. We use glow sticks to illuminate the bags. Relay for Life Southeast Indy is asking permission again to set up the luminary bags and hold a ceremony at the Beech Grove City Hall on Saturday, September 25th. The ceremony would begin at dusk and last approximately 20 minutes. Volunteers would set up a workstation for distribution of the paper luminaria bags at approximately 4:30. We will not bother traffic or the ability to walk on the sidewalk. We will clear all the luminary bags off the sidewalk after the ceremony. If you need further information, please contact me. Thank you for considering our request. We appreciate and are thankful of the support that we have always gotten from the City of Beech Grove. Bill and Linda, Relay for Life Logistics Committee.
Thanks, Jim. Comments from board members?
I have none.
I have none.
Thanks.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve this request.
I'll make said motion.
A second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thanks, Jim. Board, I would like to enter into a letter of agreement with Mater Design for landscape architect services concerning Main Street. What we would like to do is the plantings and all of the foliage on Main Street now is almost 10 years old. If the board remembers, that was the first big project we did when we come into office. So now I think it's time that we change some of the plants on Main Street. Not the trees, we're going to add trees, but some of the plantings and plants. So I've asked our friend Jeff Mater to come up with a design, and Kelsey Beal, who's on the Greenscape Commission, to come up with a design. And in fact, the Greenscape Commission did approve a design for new plantings on Main Street. So tonight is the letter of agreement between Mater Design and the City of Beech Grove to improve our plant life on Main Street. So that's what this is for. I'll open it up for any questions or comments.
Will the Greenscape help pay for it, or is it all
The
from the
city,
city?
the city would pay for it. The Greenscape Commission, they're an environmental group that gives us some oversight and some recommendations on what we should do.
Do we know how much we're gonna spend for this?
I would say it would cost less than $20,000, but I don't know.
He will be submitting some quotes. Sorry. he'll be
He's
asking
gonna
for
have to
quotes.
get at least 2 quotes.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions, Dave?
No. I'm looking
No.
forward to this.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agreement between Mater Design and the City of Beech Grove concerning Main Street and new plants.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Next up, board, is an interlocal agreement with, concerning zoning with the Metropolitan Development Commission. State in July changed the rules to where local boards such as ours, we have our own autonomy and still have to fall under the Marion County zoning ordinances, but we have our own say. Well, that's fine, but we lack expertise. Our local board members are not tied in with all of the zoning rules and the ramifications concerning zoning. So since that law's come into effect, we've had to do 2 things. Craig has retained an attorney who specializes in zoning, and we are going to, tonight, this is what this is for, I would like to engage with the Department of Metropolitan Development to continue what they have done for years for us, and that is to give us advice on zoning matters. So tonight is a interlocal cooperation agreement between the Metropolitan Development Commission of Marion County and the City of Beech Grove. And I'll defer to Craig. Craig, if you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, so Department of Metropolitan Development for the city of Indianapolis has come out to our Board of Zoning Appeals meetings for years, and what they do is the parties will present their side. Like if I want a variance, I'll come out and I'll give my side, and they'll have their demonstrators, people who are against it or for it, and then DMD, they'll have a member come out and they'll do a staff report, and they'll provide that report to the board members prior to the meeting. And essentially what they're saying is here's our recommendation based on the law and how it may impact the area where they're asking for the variance. So they're going to continue that service for us. But since the laws have changed, it's something we're going to have to compensate them for.
Can I add to that? So also with the BZA, so everything that happens before our hearings as well, the staff helps us make sure the petitioners notify the surrounding neighbors, so they have to go a certain amount of addresses in that area to send them a letter to say, hey, here's what we're wanting to do, here's the variance we're requesting, here's our hearing date. So they provide all those addresses, all those labels to the petitioners. They tell them when to advertise. They provide the stuff that we have to advertise in the papers. So there's stuff that they do before and also on that day as well. So they do a lot of things that, again, I'm not sure who else would do that if we didn't get their help to do it as they've always done.
That'd be a
So
substantial amount of time
it would.
to do that. It's a good agreement. It's a great idea.
Dave, any thoughts on your side?
No, that sounds good.
No questions or comments. I'll ask for a motion to approve the interlocal cooperation agreement between the Metropolitan Development Commission of Marion County, Indiana, and the city of Beech Grove.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you. Next order of business is approval to hire part-time paramedic, and I'll ask the clerk to read the request into the record.
Dear Board, Beech Grove Fire Department would like to ask the Board of Works and Safety for the approval to hire Nicholas Montalaro for a part-time civilian paramedic position. The start date will be September 8th based on an as-needed position to backfill our current staffing when available. The base pay will be $24 per hour for this position. Respectfully, Robert Cheshire, Fire Chief.
Thank you, Jim. Questions or comments from board members?
I'm assuming that this, since we're backfilling someone, it's already budgeted.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No further questions or comments. I'll ask for a motion to allow the chief to hire Nicholas Montalaro as a part-time civilian paramedic.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Next order of business is a request to surplus items. Clerk Treasurer Jim.
Dear Board, I would like to surplus the following items: 3 desks, 1 computer desk. These items no longer have any value to the city as they are worn out and broken. Respectfully, James Kaufman. So looking to replace a couple desks downstairs. A few of them have missing drawers, missing shelves, and just getting a little worn out. So we just need some better filing systems and stuff down there to replace them with.
Thanks, Jim.
No further questions. Motion to allow the equipment to be surplused.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Thank you. Next order of business is an old fire engine disclosure. And I'll have the clerk read the request into the record. Jim?
Gentlemen, I'm sending this email on behalf of one of our members. Gary Harden put in a lot of effort to locate the 1945 Stutz engine that is being stored at the DPW lot. I'm asking on his behalf if the city would let him purchase the old engine from the city. As it currently sits, the damage is so extensive, there is no value to the old fire truck at all. Gary has expressed on numerous occasions how he and his family members have restored old fire trucks similar to the 1945 Stutz. The only thing that would need to be decided on is how much the city of Beech Grove would need to be compensated for the old fire truck. Thank you for this consideration. I look forward to hearing back from you. Respectfully, Brent Hennedy, Indianapolis Professional Firefighters Union. Beech Grove District President.
Here's, Board, here's what I wanted to put this out to the public to disclose this. Here's what I think. The city a long time ago declared this vehicle as surplus. And they gave it to the fire buffs and a gentleman by the name of Roger Birchfield. And Roger kept this truck, and he kept the sign that's back on the wall at his house out in Canby for many years. And Roger was the historian for the Indianapolis Fire Department before he retired, and he passed away here recently. His family made contact with the fire department here and asked if you wanted this back. So the fire department, they went and got the vehicle and brought it back out, and Brad was gracious enough to let them store it out there. They put a tarp over it. Well, since now they are moving into an interlocal agreement with IFD, that's project's kind of taken a back seat. So I think my recommendation, Dave, to you and Sandy is that Gary Hardin's family does this. We've already surplused it once, and the city really never took back control of it. So my thought is, why don't we just give it to him? As long as he can get it off of the ground.
Especially since there's no value.
Yeah,
It's taking up
There's no
space
truck,
at
Beech Grove, Beech
DPW.
yes,
Really?
yeah.
Assuming if you had a lot of money to repurpose it or had the knowledge to do it, I'm sure it could be a cool thing, but I'm sure it'd be a very expensive project for somebody.
It was almost as in bad a shape as that blue car I drove. Not quite, but close.
Well, if we surplused it, so I wouldn't have a problem with it because
Right.
you'd spend boo-foo bucks fixing it up, and what use would it have then?
Yeah. I say we go ahead and gift it to Gary Hardin. He's a Beech Grove fireman, and see if he can do anything with it at all. So that'll be my ask for that motion.
I'll make said motion.
I would second.
And at no cost to Gary and his family. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Last order of business, not on here, and they're really good at this. The Eagles are having another ride, and they've asked that we allow them to block the road for a bit. So can you read this into the record, Jim?
We will be having our Anna's Celebration of Life benefit ride on September the 11th, and it will end at the Beech Grove Eagles around 3 p.m. We are in need of trash totes and barricades, and we will need to block the road to get the bikes back in. Beech Grove Police Department will be leading the ride back in. All is good, welcome, and all are welcome, and we have live entertainment outside of the Eagles. This benefit is one of our largest. We provide life-enhancing gifts to the special needs children. Thank you. Presented by Denise Bell.
Any questions or comments?
I have none.
I have none.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the request for the Eagles to close the road.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. That concludes new business. Comments from board members?
I have none.
I have none.
No comments. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make said motion.
I second.
The meeting is adjourned at 6:39 p.m. Our city council will convene this evening at 7 p.m. Thank you.